Hello everyone, this is Fishy. Welcome back to my Identity and Danganronpa crossover background story. Warning, this video contains heavy spoilers for the Danganronpa series. Also, some images may be kinda gory or a little sexual. In this video, I'm going to explain every crossover items and the story behind them. The crossover this time is named Danganronpa Reload 1.2. Danganronpa Reload is the collection of the first game, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, and the second game, Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair. Identity V has done crossover with the first game, Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc before. I've made an explanation video about that one, so if you haven't watched my video for the first Danganronpa crossover, I strongly advise you to watch it first because the story is connected. There are recurring terms from the first game such as class trial or the tragedy, and I'm not going to explain them again here. I put the link on the description, so please watch that one first and come back to this video. Okay, now that you're here, I'd assume you finished watching the first video or know about the series already, so I won't cover the overlapping information from the first Danganronpa crossover. So the main difference between the first and the second game is the setting and the background story. The first game takes place in Hope's Peak Academy. The murder game is called Killing School Life, and with Monokuma as the only mascot. The second game, however, takes place in a deserted island. The murder game is called Killing School Trip, and aside from Monokuma, there's also a new mascot called Usami or Monomi. The participants for both killing games are all students from Hope's Peak Academy and had their school memories stolen. That's what you need to know for now. I'll cover the story later in this video. So let's start with the exclusive skins in the crossover. Hajime Hinata as Prospector skin.
俺に置かれた希望が峰学園の俺は消えたくない。俺は神倉いずるじゃない。俺は日向はじめだ。
Hajime is the protagonist for Danganronpa 2. At the start of the game, he forgot his own ultimate talent, but at the end of the game, it was revealed that he was actually a student from the Hope's Peak Academy's Reserve Course, a department in the school for normal students without any talent that paid their way in. He kinda had a huge inferiority complex about not having any talent compared to the ultimates. Prior to the world's tragedy, the Academy experimented on Hajime to create an artificial ultimate Hope, who is the embodiment of the concept talent itself. During the experiment, a new personality called Izuru Kamukura manifested. He became the world ender who helped the world fall into despair, and Hajime's original personality and memory was erased. The ultimate advance emote is the way Hajime points out contradiction in the game. Also, you wanna know what he's eating here? It's a green Japanese rice cake called kusamochi. It's stated in his profile that he likes it. You can even see the red bean inside. Nagito Komaeda as Mercenary skin.
僕は幸運なんだよ。よろしく。僕は前田凪人だよ。僕は幸運なんだよ。
Nagito holds the title of the ultimate lucky student. He has an abnormal obsession with hope. His desire is for hope to triumph all, and to achieve that, he thinks challenges are necessary, including the killing game. He's ready to sacrifice himself or the others for the sake of hope, so his actions are often considered illogical and dangerous by his friends. Also, Nagito's luck is the real deal. If he desires something, he'll get it by luck. There was a scene in the game when he had to play Russian roulette with the gun almost full, but well, he didn't even hesitate to pull the trigger and survived. Nagito's standby motion saying hello is just like his game sprites. Chiaki Nanami as Mechanic skin.
やればなんとかなるってやつだよ。難易度高いなぁ。オス。
Chiaki is a calm and analytical girl who holds the title of the ultimate gamer. When talking to her, she is often dozed off due to playing games until late night, like in this ultimate exhausted emote. At the 5th class trial, in order to save her friends from execution, Chiaki along with Monomi revealed herself as a traitor, or someone who doesn't belong in the participant group. Actually, she didn't even exist by the time the killing game occurred. She and Monomi were actually an artificial intelligence with the mission to guide the students in a peaceful school trip. The AI was based on the real Chiaki Nanami, who was a classmate with the others, but during their school life was killed by Junko. Just like Nagito, Chiaki standby motion used her game sprite. Mikan Sumiki as Dr. Skin. Mikan holds the title The Ultimate Nurse. She's an awkward, scary cat who is very clumsy. In the game, her clumsiness is sometimes depicted sexually, like her character animation. She's very submissive and very easy to apologize, using self-depreciation as a defense mechanism. At one point of the game, she regained her stolen memory due to a fever and killed her friends. Her personality completely changed and became someone who's filled with despair and was able to kill her friends easily. Mikan's emote and standby motions show her personality in general. And that's it for the exclusive skins. Some of my explanations may be inconclusive, but they will be explained more in the story recap. Now, let's continue with the other characters. So let's start with someone who was in the first Danganronpa series, Byakuya Togami, the ultimate affluent progeny. But does he look any different? That's because he's actually a student impersonating Byakuya. His real name is unknown, so he's the ultimate imposter. Next is Teruteru Hanamura, the ultimate cook. He's a pervert who likes to act elegant, but he's actually from the countryside. Mahiru Koizumi, the ultimate photographer. She's a pretty normal student who isn't scared to speak her mind and really cares about others, kinda like a mom or big sister. Fuyuhiko Kuzuryu, the ultimate Yakuza. He came from a famous Yakuza group, Kuzuryu clan. He's pretty unfriendly towards the other students at the beginning. Pekoyama Peko, the ultimate swordsman. She's a kendo practitioner with a stoic personality. She's actually Fuyuhiko's childhood friend, ordered to work under him. Ibuki Miyoda, the ultimate musician. She's a very energetic rock star with a sensitive hearing. Her unusual music makes people faint the first time they hear it. Hiyoko Sayonji, the ultimate traditional dancer. Despite her cute and childlike exterior, she can be very cruel. She likes to bully Mikan and clings to Mahiru. Nekomaru Nidai, the ultimate team manager. He's a hot-blooded sports club manager. In the story, he got badly injured and got a robot body as a replacement. Gundam Tanaka, the ultimate breeder, all animal tamer. He's acting like a mysterious guy with a 12th grade syndrome. He has 4 pet hamsters that he called the 4 Dark Devas. Akane Owari, the ultimate gymnast. She's a wild muscle brain who likes to eat and fight barehanded. She fights daily with Nekomaru and gets along with him. Sonia Nevermind, the ultimate princess. She's a foreign exchange student who has deep interest in Japanese culture and wishes to get along with everyone. Kazuichi Soda, the ultimate mechanic. Despite acting cool, he's quite a coward and often panics. He's in love with Sonia. The last one is Usami, or also called Monomi. She's like Monokuma, a mysterious robot doll claiming as the teacher leading the school trip, but she's not malicious at all and in fact really sweet and sensitive. Although the students are wary of her and Monokuma bullies her daily, she doesn't give up on trying her best to help the students. She has a magical stick, which is this accessory in the crossover to perform miracles. Her real name is Usami, but Monokuma changed her name to Monomi, and also her appearance to be half-colored like him. That's all the characters and their portraits. Now we can start with the story summary. There will be some items in the previous crossover that I put in the items reference, so to avoid confusion, items from the first crossover will have a blue outline. Similar to the first series, it began with 16 students who were supposed to have their first day at Big Hope Academy. But in the classroom, they met Usami, who swung around her magical stick and found themselves being in a school trip on a deserted place called Jabberwock Island. Usami told them that any kind of violence is a big no-no, and their homework was to get to know each other and be friends. But Monokuma came with his giant robots, hijacked their place, beat Usami, broke her magical stick so that she can use any power, and told them to do the usual murder game. This is where Usami became Monomi and made her wear a diaper, acting like she's Monokuma's little sister. Monokuma placed a mysterious timer counting down to 21 days, and said that everyone's school memory was erased by Monomi. To get their memories back, they had to murder each other and survive the class trial. He also revealed that there was a traitor among them. The first murder happened during a party that Byakuya hosted. This was where Mikan felt like her animation. The first victim was Byakuya himself, killed by Teru. This was where Nagito showed his true self and confessed that he was planning to commit a murder, not because he wanted to graduate, but because he wanted to kickstart the killing game for the sake of hope. Teru found out about his plan, used that opportunity to try to kill Nagito, but accidentally killed Byakuya instead. Teru got executed by a deep volcano fry and became a tempura. After the first class trial, Kazuichi and Nekomaru tied Nagito up to prevent him from doing anything suspicious. Also, a new island was unlocked. They investigated the island and stumbled upon Jabberwock Island's commercial booklet with different details from the one they're living in, leading to the suspicion of them being on a man-made island. The students arrived at a futuristic ruin with the name Future Foundation. Monokuma and Monomi both claimed that they didn't know what the ruin was. Monokuma made a remark saying that the world has been destroyed by the World Ender, and they were also the one who brought the students into this island. At night, Monokuma told the students to play a mystery retro game called Twilight Syndrome Murder Case, which appears in Chiaki's animation. This game depicted a group of schoolgirls talking about a murder case in their school. The down 5 words were a special instruction to completely beat the game. Which after that came the second victim, Mahiru, killed by Pekoyama. During the investigation, they stumbled upon old photos in the game along with the student's name in the game's credit. Turns out the game was based on a real event in their school lives, depicting a murder that happened to Kuzuryu's sister and one other student. Pekoyama, who was raised in the Kuzuryu clan, tried to help Fuyuhiko graduate by killing Mahiru using her role as Fuyuhiko's tool. But Fuyuhiko refused to acknowledge her as a mere disposable tool, so Pekoyama still got counted as the murderer and was executed in a warlike situation. Fuyuhiko tried to protect her and got wounded. Next day, the third island opened. They found a corrupted computer file containing a brief information about the tragedy of mankind that was started by Hope's Peak Reserve Department. Also, there was a movie theater where Monokuma sold 2 limited merchandise, Monomi tote bag and Monokuma sticker, and was sold at 1,500,000 yen. Hajime bought the sticker for that price in order to skip on watching Monokuma's stupid movie. Fuyuhiko recovered and came back apologizing to them. At night, Akane tried to fight Monokuma but was blocked by Nekomaru, resulted in Nekomaru being deformed and had to recover as robot. The next day, some students got a weird infectious fever called despair disease. Aside from extremely high fever, the symptoms were different for each person. The patients were Nagito, who became a liar, Akane, who became a coward, and Ibuki, who became gullible. So Mikan tried her best to nurse them all back to health. Not long after, the next killing occurred. The victims were Ibuki, who was covered by a Monomi handbag, and Hiyoko. They were killed by Mikan, who unknowingly also got infected with remembering disease. Her lost memory returned about her beloved person, about the World Ender, and about the Future Foundation. Mikan claimed that she killed for the sake of her beloved, and that the organization who put them in Jabberwock Island was Future Foundation, and was also known as World Ender. Mikan got executed by a rocket that got fueled by a huge syringe. A new island opened. Although it was exciting at first, the students got locked up in a funhouse and could only get out after a murder happened. The next victim was Robot Nekomaru, killed by Tanaka Gundam. Tanaka only killed to free his friends, didn't really resist in the class trial, and got executed and ascended to heaven. Before the killing, Monokuma gave a file concerning the killing school life and the survivors from the first game. Also, by playing a super high-risk Russian roulette, Nagito won an extra document from Monokuma containing the student's profile, which was made into this graffiti in this crossover. Nagito only gave Hajime his own profile while he hid the rest. It was revealed that Hajime was not an ultimate, but just an ordinary student from the reserve department that paid his way in the prestigious school. Unknown to others, Nagito found out who their true enemy were from the student profiles that he hid, and we can see that he was planning something. The last island was finally accessible. Sonia learned that the Future Foundation planned to make Jabberwock Island their headquarters, while the other students were planning to capture Nagito and restrain him from doing anything weird. The lobby they were in blew up. Nagito explained that he had planted several bombs in the island, and will go off in the next 2 days if the trader doesn't come forward. They searched in panic and finally learned that the bombs were fake, along with his pre-recorded video message. They went to a warehouse to find Nagito, but a fire broke out, and they tried to put it down by trying fire grenade extinguisher with no effect, until the fire was put down by the sprinklers, and to their surprise discovered Nagito brutally murdered. During their investigation in Nagito's room, they came upon Usami's diary, like in this graffiti. It contains a brief of their daily activities, drawn and written like a children's diary. Monomi couldn't write, so actually this diary was written by Chiaki to do a daily report to Monomi. They also discovered the whole student profile that Nagito hid before, including that the student Byakuya Togami that they knew was actually the ultimate imposter. The class trial concluded that Nagito actually planned his own murder. He filled one random fire grenade with a poison, and his ultimate lucky talent ensured trader was the one that accidentally picked the poison-filled bottle to throw. After this was known, Chiaki gave hints she had been the traitor all along. She then asked them to trust in themselves and vote for her execution. Chiaki got executed with Monomi in a game-like setting, which was one of these accessory effects from the first Danganronpa crossover. What's interesting is Nagito's initial plan was actually to let the traitor alone graduate and execute all the other students. As the traitor has been found, Monokuma said there were no more obstacles to prevent them from leaving the island, but they still have 2 extra days left. Chiaki's execution shook Hajime so bad he didn't leave the room until the last day. He woke up with glitches in his vision and met his supposedly dead friends. They got a password to the Future Foundation ruin for Nagito's final message. He said as the only way to escape from Monokuma. Thus, Nagito claimed he has finished his duty, and he wished for others to call him the ultimate hope if his actions become the foundation of the world's hope. As they entered the ruin and realized something was wrong, the bomb went off and showed a stage-clear sign. Now brace yourself, because the story continuation from this point is going to be jam-packed with information. Flashback time. The cutscene shows Nagito talking to an unknown person who also possessed luck as talent about how boring the world was. They talk about Junko the ultimate despair and how Nagito attached Junko's hand to his arm due to his self-proclaimed hatred. At the window, Jabberwock Island could be seen, and the unknown person said that he wouldn't be able to participate in whatever was going to happen. Flashback ended. The remaining students, who were Hajime, Akane, Kazuichi, Sonia, and Fuyuhiko, woke up inside Hope's Peak Academy. Monokuma said it's near their graduation exam or the last class trial, and let them investigate the clues he left in the school as the world glitched more as he progressed. From their investigation, they discovered how the tragedy happened. The tragedy was started by Hope's Peak research subject, Izuru, who murdered the student council members. The school tried to cover it up, but Junko leaked the information, causing riots. The riot expanded to the whole world, and there was a group who brought chaos in the world called Ultimate Despairs. After Junko died, most of the group members committed suicide, but there were some who are still alive, and they're called Remnants of Despair. That's the very brief summary of the tragedy. I put a little bit more detailed summary of the tragedy in the description, so if you want to know more, you can read it below. At the moment, they're in a virtual world called Neo World Program that was developed by Future Foundation, while their physical bodies were sleeping outside. Also known to be a virtual therapy which can replace the subject's memory to undo trauma and brainwashing. This was proved by a photo of Hiyoko looking like an adult and a list of experiment subjects containing their names. Hajime found Chihiro Fujisaki's alter ego, saying that this world got hijacked by a virus, and Chihiro said there were two monitoring AI from the program, which was Monomi and Nanami. While the scene was glitching hard, Hajime saw Makoto's silhouette. Makoto has prepared a shutdown sequence placed at the last trial, in case anything went wrong with Neo World Program. Unlike what Mikan and Monokuma claimed before, Future Foundation was built by Hope's Peak graduates to combat the tragedy. Future Foundation got an anonymous tip about 15 other survivors from Hope's Peak Academy, which were Hajime and friends, but it turns out they were also the remnants of despair. Future Foundation planned to eliminate them as soon as possible, but Makoto and friends protected them and hid them in Jabberwock Island, activating the Neo World Program. After the investigation finished, they went back to the trial ground. The graduation exam started. This time they had to vote whether to choose graduate or repeat. At the start of the trial, Makoto answered, urging them to choose to graduate. But this Makoto was fake, created by Monokuma. Monokuma transformed into a giant Junko Enoshima. This Junko was an AI and she was the virus. Junko said if they choose to graduate, their current avatar will be uploaded to their physical body, overwriting the remnants of despair bodies, and that she'd resurrect her friends. Just before they chose to graduate, the real Makoto showed up saying it's Junko's trap. Turned out what Junko meant by resurrection was that she'd upload herself to their dead friends, making lots of Junko clones. Makoto mentioned about the shutdown command. In order to activate it, there had to be a minimum of 8 people voting to shut down, and since they were low in number, he invited Kirigiri and the real Byakuya to join the voting. It was also revealed that Hajime is Izuru. This time, Izuru was the mastermind behind the Killing School trip. Izuru inserted Junko's AI into the program and hijacked it with the virus. So they had to choose between 3 options, and here's how their decision would affect them. If they choose to graduate, they'll keep their memory in Neo World Program, their current avatar will be uploaded into their old body, their dead friends will become Junko's clone, Junko's brainwash will be undone, but the resurrection of Junko will bring the world into a greater despair. Makoto, Kirigiri, and Byakuya will be trapped in the program forever, since in order to get out, they'd need Junko's permission. If they choose to repeat, then they will continue living inside the program. Makoto, Kirigiri, and Byakuya will be trapped. If they choose to use the shutdown command, then they'll forget about the whole Killing School trip. They'll forget about all of their friends' sacrifices, but Junko's brainwash will still be undone, hopefully. Their body will go back into the body of Ultimate Despairs. Hajime will revert to being Izuru. Their dead friends will be in a vegetative state. Junko the virus will be deleted along with the Neo World Program. Makoto, Kirigiri, and Byakuya will also be able to get out. Hajime and friends broke down from having to make such a heavy decision. Hajime was especially in despair because reverting back to Izuru's brain and body means Hajime will cease to exist. Makoto urged them to choose shutdown command, but they feel like this whole thing was too much for them. Junko accepted their abstain and showed Hajime a looping world with their friends. The world rewinded again and again, but Chiaki nudged him to break the loop. Remember Hajime's animation with Izuru and Chiaki? She gave encouragement to Hajime that they can create their own future for their own sake. Hajime confronted his despair self Izuru with Chiaki's help. Hajime awakened with a new confidence, just like the skin special effect, and encouraged everyone to bounce back and start the shutdown command. After they choose, Usami emerged with her fully functional magical stick and defeated Junko. Then the virtual world collapsed as Hajime thanked Chiaki in his heart. So the Neo World program has ended. Hajime, Akane, Fuyuhiko, Sonia, and Kazuichi has woken up. They reverted to their original Ultimate Despair body, lost their killing school trip memory, but came back with their new beliefs. They choose to stay on Jabberwock Island to help their sleeping friends. Makoto, Kirigiri, and Byakuya put their faith in them and went on with their duty. The end. And that's the story of Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair. The game itself takes 30 hours to complete, but I'm trying to summarize the story as brief and as on point as possible to explain this crossover, so there are quite a lot of extra details that I didn't include. I hope my recap is not too confusing for you. Also, I didn't think of explaining the crossover essence logo before, so here are the details. The first essence shows the introduction to the world of despair, but the second one is like showing the introduction to hope, or Goodbye Despair, like the game title. So that's all the elements in this crossover. What do you think? Do you prefer the first Danganronpa crossover or this one? Comment below. Don't forget to give likes and subscribe. Thank you for watching.